All right, Megan, let's check out one of your runs, some stubby slalom training for Hermitage. We'll watch it in regular motion and then slow it down. All right, it's a pretty good ski in there. Let's check it out. All right, nice turn there, brought shape back. One thing here, it almost looks like you're, kind of giving this hill, these gates, almost too much respect, meaning almost too high of a line. We ideally want to have almost as low a line as we can, but still be able to bring back shape and finish tight to the pole with direction done. So line is based on one's ability. The lesser ability will have to take a higher line or to get the turn done. I think you could have lowered this line here a bit. I think one thing, you came in here and you brought a lot of shape back almost across the hill to make sure you hit that stubby. So here you're heading off. Really, that's not drawn too well, but way above, and we just could have run probably a little bit straighter line in the fall line, less distance traveled. I mean, you got some pretty good space above that gate. I think you could snap off a quicker turn, but line is tough. It's like that Goldilocks. Is it too high? Is it too low? It's just right. You got to play with it. So generally speaking, we like to start off in training a pretty high line, and then see if we can lower it a bit, still get the turn done, shape done, with direction done, tight to the panel. Here you came in and, you ran a little lower line, but you also started turning too early. Right in here, you got to wait for the rise line. Remember, we want to intersect rise line. A rise line would be, right there, with our skis pointing and really out and away from the pole, so we can bring shape back. And you started too early. You're in rise line now with your skis not quite down the hill, but close, so you couldn't really pressure too much here. You had to kind of hang. And now we're going to pressure. Once you get past the pole, so it's pretty heavy action below the pole at the end of the turn. Right? Pole plant, nice pole plant. You move forward through the transition, hips over the boots. That's all good stuff. Decent looking turn there. We go a little bit wide on it. Should be clipping that thing off. Hairpin was good. Nice looking turn. Pole plant. Moved forward. It's all pretty good. So we got to make sure we're really committed outside ski to outside ski. All right, we can't be twisting and cheating, trying to start that turn on the inside. Having skis going all different directions, diverging and scissoring. Pole plant there, nice. Same idea here. I mean, you came through kind of a pole plant, but rather see if you make a definitive pole plant and get off that ski and move quicker, maybe forward, because you ran out of time. It looks like you thought, I gotta start this turn with my inside ski. All right, and don't need to do that. Commit to the outside ski to outside ski. So that kind of sets you off in a little bit lower line. Made up for it. You got around this one now. One thing we've been working on is, you're very hippie. So use a lot of hip angulation to put your skis up on edge, and there are times where we want to use more knee, and here's the time in like flushes, because the hip is it's not as quick foot to foot, edge to edge. So you came in here using really all hip, and it's not as quick. We want to run this thing a little straighter in here. Feet closer together. Well, feet closer, not together. In fact, sometimes I think you're too close together, but closer to the two gates here, and then kind of sweep up, give your feet room here for the strong exit with direction. And because that, I think just you're not as quick edge to edge with all that hip angulation. You came out here a little bit low. I mean, I'd want to be in that where you are right now. I'd want to be, you know, backed up a little bit here. So you came out a little bit low here, because I'd want to be on the stubby, you know, in that position where you are now. You should have been right there. So therefore, you're coming out with a little bit of a low line. You make up for it okay. But the low line means you have to go across the hill more, as opposed going, you know, more diagonally, which would be faster, taking it down the hill more. Decent turn there, though. Brought some shape back, finished direction. Pole plant like that, pole plant. You know, the hill kind of fell away here, got a little steeper. Just really didn't, it looks like you're in a good position there. Now there, you know, you're in the rise line, skis pointing out and away from the pole. We can bring shape back. Just didn't quite, you know, get her done quickly. Didn't get the pressure enough. We want to pressure from rise line through fall line. And, you know, maybe a little bumpy. I can see your skis bouncing around, and just really strong on the outside ski. Probably kind of two-footed in here. You know, so you got weight on both skis, which means we're not going to be pressuring the outside one enough. You can't bend the outside one. So the arc lengthens, because if we're not pressuring really fully the outside ski, we're not going to bend it as much. If we're skiing two-footed, and the arc will lengthen. Here it lengthens. It takes longer to come around, and now you're down below there. And we want to be in that position, right up on that pole. So it came out of here low and late a little bit. Did a great job trying to get it. You know, you used retraction. You didn't stand up. You knew you had to get your feet from, you know, your right-hand side from, you know, basically over here. You had to get them over here on this side, and, you know, used retraction, which is great. And you got them over there, but that low line coming in, just, you knew, oh, I'm not going to get it done. I got to cheat with the inside ski a bit. And again, we're just a little bit low coming through here. We'd want to be, you know, obviously if we could, right up against that stubby with direction done. A little more divergence there, so. Any event, overall, some good skiing. Great first run the next day. Just a little lean in on the second run. Did you in, but you know, bottom line, let's make sure we're skiing outside ski to outside ski. Let's make sure we're, you know, not necessarily given. You know, sometimes, you know, I think your line may be almost too conservative. You're good enough to run a little bit lower. We're going to work on, you know, ankles and knees sometimes to edge the skis, particularly through flushes and hairpins. And we do all that, and we'll be even faster than you are now.